Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's Royalty Cut here, and in today's tutorial I'll be taking you through the process on how to cut and sew an A-line dress with trumpet sleeve and a side pocket. If this is a video you're interested in, please keep on watching and don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also turn on your notification bell to be notified whenever we post a new video. Basically, for this tutorial I'll be making use of this crepe fabric you see over here, and I have about 2 yards of this fabric. But if you're on a smaller size, you can just go ahead and use about 1.5 fabric. So the next thing I'm just going to go ahead and do right now is to fold my fabric into two, because we'll be definitely cutting the back piece first. So I'm going to go ahead and fold it, and I'll be folding with 15 inches on fold for the back piece. So basically, after folding the fabric into two with 15 inches, just like I told you earlier, I went ahead to cut the sides, and I also, for the full length, I just went ahead to measure the length of the dress that I'm working with. Now, the next thing I'm just going to go ahead and do is to mark a certain line that will be serving as our shoulder line at this point. So after marking this certain line, this also will be serving as our shoulder line. Now the next thing I'm just going to go ahead and do is to divide my shoulder to shoulder measurement, which is 16 inches. 16 inches divided by 2 is 8 inches. So from this folded edge, I'm just going to go ahead and mark 8 inches. And I'm going to also go ahead and divide my armhole measurement, which is also 16 inches, into 2. So it will also give me 8 inches. So from this shoulder line, I'll go ahead to impute my armhole measurement at this point vertically. So I'm just going to go ahead and extend this armhole curve line here, and also the shoulder measurement mark that I marked here all the way down to the armhole measurement. Now, after that, the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do is to determine the neck width that I'm working with. So this is the back piece that we are cutting. So I'm going to go ahead and mark 3 inches. Remember that this dress won't be having a zipper. So we'll make the neck area easy for us to be able to pass it through the head. So I'm going to go ahead and mark 3 inches. So for the depth of the back piece, I'll be working with 2 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and mark 2 inches. And I'll be connecting the neck width with the neck depth for us to get our neck curve. Now the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do is, at this armhole measurement that I have here, I'll be coming down by 1 inch for our shoulder slope. And I'll be connecting this 1 inch all the way down to this neck width that we have over here. Now, after that, I'm going to go ahead and measure what I have from this 1 inch that I marked here all the way to the length here. And I have 7 inches. 7 inches divided by 2 is 3.5. So I'll go ahead and mark the 3.5. And this point that I marked 3.5, I'll be coming in by half of an inch at this point, just like you see over here. And I'll be connecting this half of an inch that I have here all the way to this 1 inch. And after that, I will be using my curve ruler to create an armhole from this ½ inch that I have here into this armhole line that I extended, just like you see me do over here. So this is our armhole curve. Now the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do is to impute our vertical measurement. So from the shoulder line, I'm going to go ahead and mark my bust point, which is 10 inches, just like you see me do here, and I will extend the line. I'll also go ahead and mark my waistline, which is 16 inches. I'm going to go ahead and extend it too. I'll also go ahead and mark my hip length. Now the hip length that I'm working with is 24 inches. So I'm just going to go ahead and mark 24 inches and also extend it. Now the next thing I'm working for right now is the full length of this dress. So for the full length, I'll be working with 36 inches. And I'll be adding extra 2 inches for folding of the down part, making it 38 inches in total. And I will extend the lines. Now the next thing I'm just going to go ahead and do is to divide my round bust measurement into 4, and I'm working with round bust 36 inches. 36 inches divided by 4 is 9 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and mark 9 inches at the bust point here, and I'll be adding 2-inch allowance for ease, because this is a free dress, and I'll be adding half of an inch stitching allowance to this dress, making it 2.5 inches that I added after our normal body measurement. So for the waist, I'm working with waist 32 inches. 32 inches divided by 4 is 8.25. I'm going to go ahead and mark 8.25. I'll add 2 inches for ease, and I'll also go ahead and add half of an inch for stitching the sides. For the hip measurement, I am working with 42 inches. 42 inches divided by 4 is 10.5 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and mark 10.5 inches at this point, and I'll be adding extra 2 inch allowance for ease and half of an inch for stitching it, making it 13 inches in total. Now for the full length of this dress, I'm just going to go ahead and curve the sides together. So from this bust point that I have here, I'll be connecting the line to my waistline, just like you see me do over here. I don't know if you can see. Then from the waistline, I'm just going to go ahead and curve it this way. Now you can also go ahead to use your free hand to match up the sides of this line. Now for the full length, I'm just going to go ahead and curve from this hip line that I have here all the way to the full length of this dress, just like you see me do over here. So this is what it's looking like. Now, if you want yours to be more freer, you can just go ahead and add extra inches to the end part of it. But remember that I folded with 15 inches. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and cut out the sides of this dress. Now, I'll also go ahead and add half of an inch at the shoulder line and half of an inch at the neck area for us to be able to stitch it down. So after cutting it out, this is what it is looking like. So I'm just going to go ahead and fold my fabric again into two for us to cut the front piece. After folding the piece that we'll be making use of for the front pattern, I also went ahead to fold it with 15 inches and it's on fold. So I'm just going to go ahead and place the back piece that we cut out earlier directly on this folded piece that I have here, making sure that the sides are equal, just like you see me do over here. Now the next thing I'm just going to go ahead and do right now is for us to pin this down so that it doesn't move from the point that we kept it. After pinning the back piece down to the front piece, this is what I have here. Now the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do right now is to cut the sides from the shoulder line all the way down to the full length of this dress for it to be equal. And the only thing that will be left is the neck width that I have here, because the front neckline and the back neckline won't be the same thing. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut every other side to be equal. After cutting the sides of this dress to be equal, just like I told you earlier, I left the front neckline. So I'm just going to go ahead and mark the neck width that I have at the front piece that I folded for it to be equal. So I'm just going to go ahead and mark this so that it will correspond. So I'm going to go ahead and determine how I want my front neckline to look like. So I want at the end of the front neckline for it to be able to have a slit at the center. So I'm just going to go ahead and unpin this back piece away from it, just like you see me do over here. So for my front neck width, I'm just going to go ahead and work with 3.5 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and trim the sides for it to be equal. So I'm going to go ahead and work with 3.5 inches. So from the shoulder line, just like I have here, I'm going to mark 3.5 inches from this point, just like you see me do over here. And I'll be connecting it all the way down to the neck width that we have to create our front neck curve. Now, after getting the curve, I'm going to determine how I want the slit area to be. So for the slit area, I'll be doing 3.5 inches because I want the front neckline to be 6 inches in total. So from this point that I marked the curve, I'll be coming down by 3.5 inches, just like you see me do here. And at this point, I want it to be a little bit open. You know, give us that V shape from that 3.5 inches. So what I'm just going to go ahead and do is to At this point that I mark 3.5 inches for the slit, I'll go in by half of an inch, just like you see me do here. And I'll be connecting this half of an inch all the way down to this 3.5 inches that I curved earlier, just like you see me do over here in a V shape. Don't make the line straight. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut the neck area out. Cutting up open the front neck area, this is what it's looking like. So I'm just going to go ahead and open it up for us to see what it looks like. So opening this up, this is what the front neckline is looking like, as you can see. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut out a facing. I'm going to go ahead and cut out a facing for this front neckline and also for the back neckline, and I'll be facing it over with the facing. So for the sleeve, I went ahead to fold my fabric into four because we'll be cutting the left sleeve and the right sleeve together. So I have four fabric here in total. And this open edge that I have here is not where I'll be taking the measurement from. The measurement will be from this two folded edge. So I'm just going to go ahead and draw a line at this tip that will be serving as our starting point. So after marking it, I'm just going to go ahead and divide my round armhole measurement, which is 16 inches, into 2, and it's 8 inches. So from this point, I'm just going to go ahead and measure 8 inches at this point. Now, after marking the 8 inches, I'll go ahead and mark the center of these 8 inches. That's dividing 8 inches into 2, which is 4 inches. So I'll just go ahead and mark the 4 inch. Then from this point, vertically, I'm going to go ahead and mark 4 inches too. I'm going to go ahead and mark 4 inches. Now, this 4 inches is your armhole measurement. After dividing it into 2, you divide it again into 2, which is the 4 inches I marked vertically. So I'm just going to go ahead and connect this 4 inch that I have here down to this line that I marked here, and I'll be connecting these 8 inches down to the 4 inch, just like you see. Now, the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do is to divide this 4 inch that I have here that I marked vertically. I'm going to divide it into 2 again, and it will be giving me 2 inches. So I'll go ahead and extend the 2 inches. So we are doing our sleeve cap right now. So the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do is with my curve ruler, I'll be connecting from this center part to the center of this point that you see over here in a curvy way. So after connecting it, the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do is to connect from this center to the end of this round armhole measurement that I have, also in a vertical way, making sure that the curve this time around is facing downwards, just like you see me do over here. And our sleeve cap is ready. Now for the full length of the sleeve that I'm working with 25 inches, just like you see over here. And I went ahead to leave about half of an inch that I'll be using to fold the end part. So I have 25 inches and half here. Now the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do, remember that this is a trumpet sleeve. So I'm going to be making use of the whole fabric that I have here. And on fold, I have about 10 inches. So the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do is to connect from this sleeve cap that I have here in a vertical way all the way down to this 10 inch that I have. Now you can go ahead to fold more inches if you want your trumpet sleeve to be wider, and we don't need our elbow measurement or any other measurement for this. So I'm just going to go ahead and connect it this way. So basically this is what it's going to be looking like. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut this out. So after cutting it out, this is what our sleeve is looking like, just as you can see here. So the next thing I'm just going to go ahead and do is to place this aside. So basically after turning over the neck area of our front piece and our back piece, this is what it's looking like. I haven't ironed it yet because there's no light, so I just went ahead to use my pin to pin it down, but this is what it should be looking like after ironing it out. And this is the front piece, and also this is the neck area for the back piece, as you can see. So for the side pocket, I went ahead to cut out these curvy pieces that you see over here. There was no measurement at all that I used. The only measurement that I made use of was the measurement of this part, which is about 8 inches that I have here. So from the 8 inches, I just went ahead to curve the end to meet the other 8 inches. And I have about 4 pieces here, 4 separate pieces. So for attaching the side pockets to this dress, I'm going to bring the front piece that we have here. So from the shoulder, I'll be measuring the our waist length. Now remember that I'm working with waist length of 17 inches. So I'm just going to go ahead and measure it down from the shoulder line. So from this point to this point, this is my 16 inches. So I'm just going to go ahead and mark it down, just like you see me do over here. So I'm going to go ahead and bring one piece of this side pocket that I cut out earlier, and I'll be placing it right side facing each other with the bent fabric, starting from the waistline that I measured here. So I'm just going to go ahead and place it this way, and I'll be pinning it down. I'll also go ahead and do the same thing for the other side of this front piece. So after pinning the pocket to the front piece, I'm just going to go ahead and use about half or quarter of an inch, not half of an inch, use quarter of an inch to join from this point that I placed the pocket, from this point all the way down to this point, it's quarter of an inch. And I'll also go ahead and use quarter of an inch to join this side. Now I'll go ahead for the back piece to place the pocket. I'll be placing it exactly the same way that I placed the front pocket. I'll measure from the back piece, from the shoulder to the waist, and I'll place the pocket on the back piece. And I'll also go ahead and use quarter of an inch to stitch the pocket to the back piece. So basically, after attaching the side pocket to the front piece, like I showed you earlier, this is what it is looking like. And I also went ahead to top stitch on it. I don't know if you can see. I top stitched on it so that it would be able to relax. And this is what the sides of the pocket is looking like. Now I'm just going to go ahead and place the front piece and the back piece right side facing each other, just like you see me do over here. Making sure that the shoulder lines are aligning together. So I'm just going to go ahead and pin it down, and I'll also go ahead and pin the other side down. So this is what it is looking like. For the sides of the pocket, this is what each side should be looking like when you're done with the front and the back pocket side. As you can see, the sides are aligning and the pockets are aligning too. So for this other side, it should also be the same thing, just like you see over here. So the next thing I'm just going to go ahead and do right now is to go over to my sewing machine, and I'll be using the half of an inch sewing allowance that we added to this dress earlier while cutting it. I'll be stitching the shoulder first with half of an inch joined together. After that, I'll be stitching the sides with half of an inch. So from this armhole area, I'll be stitching it with half of an inch from this point. Then when I get to this pocket side that you see over here, I'm going to go ahead and curve it this way. I don't know if you can see. Let me use a chalk to illustrate it. Make sure you pin it down first. Pin it down for it to align. So from this point, I'll come here with half of an inch, half of an inch, half of an inch. When I get to this point, I'll just go ahead and curve it this way. I don't know if you can see. So I'll sew all the way around here with half of an inch all the way around, half of an inch, half of an inch, half of an inch, and come out to this point too with half of an inch. Then I'll now continue with the half of an inch all the way down to the full length of this dress. I don't know if you can see from this point to this point, then so round. And I'll also be doing the same thing for this other side, half of an inch to this point, then to the full length of this dress. So basically, I've started stitching the side just like I showed you earlier. This is what the end result is looking like, as you can see. So I'm just going to go ahead and turn this over to the right side. So after turning it over to the right side, it looks this way, and this is where our pocket is, as you can see. So the next thing I'm just going to go ahead and do right now is to attach our sleeve. So for the sleeve, I'm just going to go ahead and notch the center part of this sleeve that we cut out earlier. At this point, I'm just going to go ahead and notch it. So after notching it, I'm going to be placing one sleeve at the other side and the other one at the other side. But before attaching the sleeve to the fabric, I'll be folding this end sleeve part area with about half of an inch. So I'm just going to place this notched area you see over here at the center of this our shoulder line, this way, and I'm going to be stitching it from this point to this point and from this point to this point. And after that, I'll be shaping the sides with 1 inch that we use to shaping the dress. And I'll also do the same thing for this other sleeve. And I'll go ahead and fold the full length of this dress. So after I went ahead to fold the full length of this dress and also attach the sleeve to it, and this is what it is looking like. As you can see, so this is the finished product of this flay dress or an A-line dress, and this is the end of this tutorial. Please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also turn on your notification bell to be notified whenever we post a new video. See you in our next tutorial. Bye.